Some celebrities stay away from all the Hollywood drama while others create it, which is why it is even possible for me to have a part 3 list of celebrities who are problematic. I'm your host for this one, Josh Bedard. Before I get into this part 3 list, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button because it really helps us out. Kicking off this countdown list, number 10 is Charli and Dixie D'Amelio. The TikTok stars and sisters are under fire after a YouTube video was posted on their family's channel. The video was the first one of a series called Dinners with the D'Amelios, and it featured the sisters and their parents eating a meal prepared by professional chef Erin May. In the video, Dixie starts gagging and even leaves the table to throw up after trying some of the seafood. Then later on in the video, Charli is seen talking about how she wants dino chicken nuggets instead. The video had over 8 million views, with the majority of comments calling them disrespectful and ungrateful. Soon enough, the entire Twitter universe and TikTok was calling them brats. Dixie ended up responding in a video where she said the video was taken out of context and that they know the chef well and always joke around together. She said the chef and the camera crew actually set it up for her to eat that because they knew that she would freak out and throw up. Some people are not buying her excuse though, and Charli has lost over 500,000 followers since that video went live. Up next, number 9 is Conor McGregor. The UFC fighter recently announced he is ending his retirement early and will be returning to fight on January 23rd. He remains the biggest star in the sport despite retiring for a 3rd time in 4 years and only being 32 years old currently. He's also one of the few fighters who end up in the media all the time for starting drama or having a complete public meltdown. There's been a few occasions where fans have tried to take photos of him, but he ends up in a rage and just smashes their phones instead. Back in 2019, he was charged with strong-armed robbery and misdemeanor criminal mischief after he took a fan's phone from his hand and then smashed it on the ground. This was not the first time something like that happened. He actually attacked a bus containing rival UFC fighters and had to go to court for that too. He was ordered by the court to have anger management training and perform 5 days of community service. I think all fighters should have to go to anger management. It's a very angry sport. In spot number 8 is Max Eric. You have probably seen him in headlines recently for being Demi Lovato's fiance and then ex-fiance, all in a matter of 6 months. The two of them got together during quarantine and were only together for a few months when they announced their engagement. Everything seemed great, and from the outside looking in, they looked really happy. But after just a couple months being engaged, reports started surfacing saying that the two of them had split. Their split was super dramatic, but it was all on Max's side. Demi simply deleted their photos together from her social media and didn't make comments about it to the media. Max, however, he allegedly tried to contact all of her friends and family, staged paparazzi photos of him crying on the beach where they got engaged, and publicly slammed her on his live streams. There was a point where articles actually reported that Demi had gotten her lawyers involved because he would not leave her alone. She recently appeared at the People's Choice Awards where she made a joke about getting engaged and unengaged during quarantine, and Max responded online by commenting on her photos and posting a photo of him shooting the middle finger. Sounds like a classy guy. Sliding into number 7 is Scooter Braun. Probably heard about the legal battle Taylor Swift has been going through with this record executive. He works with some of the most popular artists in the world, and Taylor Swift was once one of them. But then Scooter started holding her music against her when she wanted to move forward from working with him. He legally owns all of her master recordings from the last decade of her career, and she's actively been trying to purchase them back from him, but has been unsuccessful. Because of that, she hasn't been able to perform those songs without his permission. It was recently announced that he had sold her master recordings, videos, and album art for $300 million without her knowing. This was actually the 2nd time that it was sold without her knowledge. Taylor talked about it in a recent tweet where she posted a screenshot denying to working with the new company, who is still affiliated with Scooter, and said she has already started re-recording her old music. She actually plans on re-recording all of her old songs so that they will be hers and her old ones won't hold as much financial benefit for Scooter down the road. Although I feel like they might still. They were the originals. Making his way into number 6 is Jake Paul. I'm not sure where to begin when it comes to Jake Paul, since his whole career has been one controversy after another. He is still wildly successful despite the fact though. Do I start with his fake marriage to Tana Mojo, or the time that his house was investigated raided by the FBI and firearms were found, or all the other times that he publicly called out other celebrities and exposed private screenshots on social media. His career started on the Disney Channel and then turned to YouTube full time, where his neighbors kept calling the cops on him for the crazy videos that he would film all the time. It's basically been one thing after another for him, and in recent times he started boxing, so now he is always calling out other fighters online and exposing screenshots to try and ruin their reputation. I feel like all fighters do that though, like they're always publicly fighting with each other and calling each other out because it like raises the tension of the fight. You know? Halfway through our list, at number 5 is BELLE DELPHINE. Cosplayer has a very successful career on YouTube, but she caused quite some scandals online after selling her bathwater and possibly even her urine. Back in 2019, she announced to her fans that she would be selling her bathwater. She announced it on her Instagram, writing, "I am now selling my bathwater for all you thirsty gamer boys." The jars of the bathwater actually went up on her site and was listed at $30 per jar. She called it Gamer Girl Bathwater. Many people were confused and a little bit grossed out, but there were also a lot of fans who purchased the product. So it may have been like a genius business move on her end. But then reports started saying that she was selling a jar of her urine for $10,000. People didn't know if it was a hoax or not because it was up on her website and included a description that said one lucky cutie fan would receive it and that it is only for sentimental purposes, not consumption. But then other reports said that that site was actually a replica of hers and she wasn't actually trying to sell her urine, so we're not really sure, but the bathwater is enough for me. Sniping our number 4 spot is TORY. He is the rapper that allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. The story came to surface recently after an incident that happened back in July in Hollywood Hills. TORY was riding in an SUV with Megan when he got into an argument with another passenger who was with them. The argument led to TORY firing off some bullets, and a few of them were at Megan's feet as she was trying to get out of the car. Megan shared the graphic images from her injury and even shared the text messages that TORY sent her while she was in the hospital apologizing for what he did. But then recently he pled not guilty for the charges that he is facing related to the shooting. In October, he was charged with various felony counts including assault with a semi-automatic firearm, personal use of a firearm, and carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle. He appears in court on January 20th, 2021, so we will see how that goes. Although he literally has, like, he apologized for shooting her and then he's pleading not guilty. In our 3rd spot is Pratt. This one will just depend on what you personally believe. I never saw the actor to be the controversial type, and he's never been one to get in petty celebrity drama, but the Guardians of the Galaxy star has been facing tons of backlash after one tweet started trending where people had to choose which Chris was the worst one. Amy Berg tweeted, "One has to go," and attached photos of Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, and Chris Pine. The innocent joke turned serious real quick after actress Ellen Page called him out for supporting a religious organization that reportedly discriminates against the LGBTQ community. The organization is called Hillsong Church, and in 2015, the senior pastor wrote in a post that the church welcomes all people but does not affirm all lifestyles, including the gay lifestyle. On top of that, people also exposed the fact that he might be a Trump supporter. He didn't attend the recent virtual fundraiser for Joe Biden, which was attended by all of his other Avenger co-stars. He hasn't openly said he voted for Trump. He's actually remained very silent on political views during this election, which has also made people believe even more that he did vote for him. This is all he said, she said, so it's up to you. Cruising into number 2 is Offset. The rapper has had a lot of haters in recent times because he's been caught cheating on his wife, Cardi B. She filed for divorce recently after he was allegedly cheating again, but then she dismissed the divorce and said she's going to continue working on their relationship. I think we can all agree that someone who continues to cheat on their wife obviously has problematic behavior. On top of that, he was recently arrested while driving through a Trump rally and Instagram live streamed it. The cops pulled him over and said they received reports that he was waving a gun outside the window of his car. He refused to get out of the car after they asked him to, so eventually the cops removed him, and at that point the live stopped streaming. Later on, the Beverly Hills Police Department tweeted a statement that clarified Cardi B's cousin, Marcelo Almanzar, was in the passenger seat of Offset's car and he was the one arrested for carrying a concealed weapon and also carrying a loaded firearm firearm in public. However, even though it wasn't Offset who was holding the gun, he was still in the car and like a witness to it, basically. He knew what was going on. Taking over our #1 spot is Lil Wayne. He's been quiet for the last while, which is why people were shocked to see him on stage with Donald Trump during his campaign in the recent 2020 election. But the backlash he received from that is nothing compared to what he is facing now after facing serious legal charges. 10 months ago, he was involved in a firearm case in which a handgun was in his luggage on a private plane. But only a few days ago was it announced that he was charged with gun possession and could face up to 10 years in prison if he is convicted. He was charged with criminal possession of a firearm and ammunition as a prior felony offender, so things are not looking too good for him. However, his lawyers are insisting that he did not use the firearm in the incident. They said there is no allegation that he ever fired it, used it, or threatened to use it. There is no allegation that he is a dangerous person. But back in 2009, he pleaded guilty to a felony gun charge as part of a plea deal, so we're not really sure what's gonna happen this time. Alright guys, that's our part 3 list, but before I end this video, I'm gonna do some comments from the Dark Truth about Chris Pratt. K Diamond says, "Hi Joss, I love you and your content. I'm 3rd comment, yay, I pray I get a shout out." Well, how could I not give you a shout out after such a sweet message like that? Melissa Prouty says, "It isn't anyone's business who anyone votes for." I agree. Like, we're supposed to have our votes and political views for a reason. Like, everyone is entitled to it, so let's just not even share it anymore. Jennifer Simpson says, "Love me forever. I thumbs up every video." We do! We really appreciate the thumbs up, honestly. Amanda Lee says, "Thank you Joss for not bashing him." Yeah, honestly, I never saw Chris Pratt as like a bad guy. I feel like there are way worse people in Hollywood. I don't know, I don't judge him. It's all just a bunch of like he said, she said. Alright guys, that's all I got. I'm getting out of here. I was your host Joss Bedard. I will see you next time.